Just want to talk. Well, what's there to talk about?
Podcast Help Desk. This is for any business inquiries, complaints, legal issues you may have. Is there any way I can help you? Before you start, I have to beg you, please do not sue us. We have no money.
Hey guys, this is the Voicemail Podcast. I'm your new host, JD. I've been on a couple previous episodes, but now I am a considered full-time member. We're here with Big Ugly Boy and our special guest, multi-instrumentalist, frontman of Archie and the Bunkers, Emmett O'Connor.
How are you doing?
So tell us a little about yourself, Emmett.
Well, I'm in a few bands around. I'm in a band right now in Cleveland, Archie and the Bunkers. We play out every now and again around town. Just playing music.
I understand you've been on a couple tours recently?
Yeah, I've been on a few tours. The most recent of it being down south. We went down, played Nashville at Third Man Records, and we played Goner Fest with the Black Lips and Kid Congo Powers in Memphis. And then we swung up in Indianapolis, and we came home just a short bit. And then this past spring, we played a few weeks over in Europe.
How was Europe?
Europe was great. We're going back this summer. It's a lot of hard work, but once you get over there and you're playing out every night, you get used to it, and it's pretty fun.
What was your favorite place to go in Europe?
Amsterdam was really good because...
Not just because of the coke and the hookers, or...?
No. See, I don't have any time for that. I'm too tired by the end of the night. I gotta go to bed. Really, everybody speaks English in the Netherlands. They're really nice, and the main thing is like the language barrier, And they've got the Rijksmuseum. Records are great. They're cheap there. Records are cheap there, so... And the crowds are wild.
My favorite part in a Czech, there was a little store that sold, like not fake records, because they had, like, the albums on it, but they're, like, bootlegged records. And I could tell, because, like, I would see, like, a Descendants record, and it just kind of looked wonky.
Yeah, you gotta get those.
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
Those
I kind of
great.
wanted them, but, like, I was talking to my aunt and uncle, they're like, I guess it's illegal to, like, ship, a lot of, like bootleg stuff from one country to another.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I guess. Or at least that's what they were telling me. So I was, like, kind of afraid, because I would see, like, weird looking, like, wonky AC/DC records. I'm like, this isn't real. Like I'm no record dude, but, like, I could see it and I was like, this is fake.
So are they like studio albums, or just like would they be like studio albums that were just bootlegged, or are they just
They
like
just looked
compilations,
bootlegged, like
just weird stuff?
I'm trying to think of, like, one for sure was an AC/DC album, and, like, I think it was, I don't remember, like, the exact album, but I remembered the art for it. I saw the record, and I'm just like, it looked photoshopped, and it didn't look like anything I've ever seen, so it's just like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. How old are you?
I'm 18.
18, okay, so that's what, 4 tours, 4?
Well, yeah, our major tour we did was the one in spring in Europe. Then we did the southern tour. I said that's about it as far as touring. We've been to Detroit, Columbus. We played out. We got flown out to Las Vegas. That was cool. We played 2 shows out there.
I'm interested to know, how is the tour life, the travel, the roadies, groupies, any of that?
Well, the roadies consist of me, my brother. He'll set up his keyboard, and then I'll be there setting up drums, and I'll be like, help me. And he's like, no, he's too busy with the girls, And then at the end of the show, it's like, well, you gonna go sell merch? No, I've got to pack up my drums. No, I'm gonna go see it. And then he'll disappear, and then I'll have to pack up my drums really fast. But no, it's pretty even. We haul our own, and
Yeah,
it's good.
I bet it's like pretty tiresome though.
Oh yeah, there's a few times. It was funny because my brother and I were actually just talking about this today, and it was like he was saying how when we got there, when we were in Geneva, we were dead, man. And he's like, and then we went over to France and we were dead. And then we went up through Paris, and I was still dead. And then we talked, and it was like one time we got like a break, and it was we were playing in the Netherlands, and we booked this hotel super cheap, and it's like a 2-story apartment, and it was like the nicest place. We're like, okay, we can get some sleep now. Because we were playing a music festival in France, and it was great. It was probably one of the best times I had over there. It was just, everybody was going nuts, and I was hanging out with so many cool people.
What was the music festival?
It was Cosmic Trip Festival.
Okay.
And it was their 20-year birthday, so they had all the big bands, Heavy Trash, The Monsters, King Kong and the BBQ Show, and I was hanging out with all those guys. And we had the smallest dressing room because we're like the newest, and it was me, my brother, Reverend Beatman from The Monsters, King Kong, and John Spencer. We're all hanging out in my room, and like there was this television crew that like tried to get into our and we're like, get out! Like my brother and John Spencer was flipping them up, and they left, and it was pretty cool. But we were eating like moldy bread,
Oh.
Like it was like we woke up the day we were supposed to play, and I just had like 10 pieces, and there was like black stuff all over the bread, but that was all they had. Like that was the breakfast.
That's pretty punk.
Yeah, I guess. And my brother, he got like a cereal bowl, and he filled it with espresso, and he didn't really know exactly what he was doing, because like I don't think he'd ever had espresso before, so he just filled out this, just drinking it. He was so like out of it all day, because he was like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, coffee does a number on me.
Yeah, I don't really drink it just because I don't know, I just don't.
I drink it by the whole pot.
Yeah.
I'm nuts.
I've tried to switch over to tea. I like tea a lot better, but coffee is just like always more available to me,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you usually go with your folks, or is it usually just you and your brother?
My folks went over last time, and it was really fun. It was like a family vacation kind of thing.
How are the people like compared to Clevelanders or just Americans?
Well, it's hard to say because Cleveland's done a lot for us, and they've been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to for a band, especially a band nowadays, and the kind of music that my brother and I are doing, it's really hard to get support without being hooked onto like a well-known label or getting a bigger band you can tour with.
Yeah, really got to get the right promotion with that.
And then if you constantly tour the States, which my brother and I plan on doing, as soon as it's my brother gets old enough to do that,
Yeah, as soon as you can.
Yeah. And then we'll start really focusing on the United States, because I know a lot of people over here that we could tour with and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Europe is people love music over there, and they want to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
So when over there, like, they want to go out, it's a weekend or a weekday or whatever, they just kind of go out whenever, and they'll look on the internet or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, there's a show coming up in this band. Oh, Archie and the Bunkers, they're playing. Oh, they're from the United States. I've never heard of them. They actually do this thing, and they actually, like, click on the music, and they listen to it to see if they like it. And then they're like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I'll go see it, and then I'll bring my friends. So then, like, one day we'll be playing a place, and we'll play in front of 200 people, and it'll be awesome. And then another day we'll be playing, in Spain, we played this basement, and, like, the Flat Duo Jets came in, who were amazing, the day before, and they stole the bass drum, the drum throne, and so I have to sit on, like, stacked beer crates, and there's a hi-hat stand that's, like, from the 1940s that I can barely keep down, and, like, just a Frankenstein kit, but it was an awesome show because everybody was there, and the basement was packed, and everybody was dancing and having a good time. And that's how it is.
Half of a concert is for sure the crowd. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not going to get the energy if the crowd doesn't bring it.
Exactly, and that's what I work. That's what I work off of. Is if you're not into it, it's going to be really hard for me to be into it.
Yeah. And I think that's good too, because you really want to like bring that feeling out. I mean, even if you're like trying to build a following like that, you want people to have that energy, and I mean, it's also great to do it too. Like I play like a couple live shows. I mean, nothing like you've done before, but like even playing for like 30 people, like 30, 40 people, it's still cool to do if everybody's everybody's vibing with it.
You'll have those shows. We had those shows over there where we were playing. We played quite a few shows where there were like 40 people there or 30 people there, but they were having a good time. And then one night, it's like we're playing in Amsterdam, and it's like this is a good story. And we were playing the Paradiso, which is like this big venue over there. And there's 2 stages. There's the one really big one that Pink Floyd used to play in this and that. And there's like that's a few thousand. We weren't playing that, but this venue about like 250 capacity. It's inside, and the whole complex is like a legendary thing. Like the Velvet Underground. All those bands used to play in this place, and so we're booked there and. Our tour people are saying, like, we don't know how you're going to do in the Netherlands because there hasn't been that much of a response for your record over there. And, we don't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. So we get there and, it's we're just going around doing our thing. And the room we were going to play in is being used by this New Orleans kind of big band thing, which they were good. Mm-hmm. And it was packed for them. And it was, and I'm thinking maybe some of these people will stay. And then all of a sudden, they end and like everybody's filing out. We're like, oh man, nobody's gonna stay. And we're like, nobody's gonna see us play. And this room's huge and it's gonna look empty. It's gonna be terrible. So my brother and I are in the other room, and we're just kind of like sitting there or whatever. And so it's like, okay, we should probably go on now. So we go up there and it's like the room's packed and we're like, what the heck happened? So we're playing the set, we're playing really hard and the crowd's really digging it. And then we're gonna play this song like a more a slower song that people could dance to. And I was like, this is for all you swing cats out there, thinking that these people stayed. And they looked at me like I didn't know what I was talking about. And I said it again. And then I said, did you guys come to see us? And it was like, yeah. And I was like, it blew my mind. And so we went right into it and we played the rest of the show and we sold a lot of records that day.
Wow, that must be awesome.
It was crazy. It was crazy, yeah.
That's wacky.
But then, the day after that, we played in Belgium for, like you said, like 40 people.
Yeah.
But the crowd was going wild, the bass amp was breaking up that day or whatever, and it was being really bad. So we were getting really angry. And it was a place where people were allowed to smoke inside, so my voice was starting to, kill from singing. Like, it doesn't matter when I'm in, but when I'm start to sing, like, it starts, and so I was getting really, like, angry, because it was like, and so when I went up front that show, because my dad hopped on drums, and I went, and there's actually, like, a short Instagram video of it somewhere, somebody took it, and I look like I'm ready to, like, kill someone, like, somebody in the crowd went up to me, and I just shoved him like a mile, and I kicked over, I like smashed some glasses or whatever, and it was like, so like the next day it's like you're on like you've got your gears breaking down, and you're like, oh man. And like the day before it was like perfect, like they had a guy doing lights, they had a professional photographer there, they had the sound guy was great, and then the next day you're playing a show like that,
Yeah.
And it's, to me it's still just as fun because the crowd's into it, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what kind of direction are you guys going in right now?
Well, right now we just finished a record. We finished recording an album.
Okay.
So we did that downtown Cleveland with this guy Jim Wart.
Okay.
And it turned out really well. We're excited about it, and we'll see where it goes from there. And
anything you can reveal about it?
It's got a lot of new songs on it, and my brother's singing quite a bit more.
Okay.
Which is really good. The songs, I feel really strong about the songs.
Is it any of the songs that you played at your live shows like recently in Cleveland?
Yeah, if you've been to the last couple shows, you've probably heard quite a few of those songs.
Yeah, I really like the stuff that you guys are doing on there. I really like how you guys do all of the halftime stuff, like how you switch in between halftime and countdown.
Yeah.
That stuff's crazy. Like every time like you guys do the switch, I'm just like, oh man.
I'm trying to think what songs in particular, but I know which ones. Yeah, I think those are some of the new ones.
Yeah, it's like the one that's like, it's like dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that one, that's probably our most known song, because we had a music video we did for that. And it got like, it's not like super huge, but it's got like 26,000 hits or whatever.
It's still pretty nice.
Yeah, like I just checked it the other day. I was like, wow, that actually has a few views. But yeah, like I was blown away. Like we were playing in Madrid and people were singing it. I was like, what?
Oh, that's crazy.
And that was another crazy show, Madrid. The opening band was amazing. I can't think of their name, and even if I did, I'd probably butcher the name, but they were amazing, and they took us to eat real Spanish food. Like, they took us off the beaten path, and they went, weaved through, and we had some really, like, I ate, pig's ear, and I ate squid, and I ate all this stuff, man. I was so full, and then I went and played, and it was great. And there were, like, 5 encores that... Like, they kept wanting us to play all these covers that they had heard we played. So, like, we'd play and, like, destroy everything and knock everything down. And then they wouldn't take no for an answer. Like, put your stuff back together and play more. So, we would. I kind of put my drum set back and we'd play. And then they had seen a video of some people holding my brother's organ up while he's playing on it. So they just took it. The people from the opening band, they just took it off as my brother's playing. He's like, "Where are we going?" and he said that was a bit scary, but it was, it was great. And I went up front for that show, and they kept grabbing at my legs. They wanted to make me crowd surf, and I was like, I don't know. But it was a great show.
Yeah, that must be awesome. What is your craziest show?
Oh man, I think. You remember the April 1st show?
The Fiddler opener?
No, that was fun. That was great.
That was great.
That was really
I
awesome.
busted my hip, had to use a cane for the next month and a half. I felt like an old man. I would cry every time I would have to sit in the shower. Your dad had to check if I busted my hip because I thought I broke it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that
I couldn't
was
stand.
No, I remember something particular from that show. I think it was you. It had to have been you. Because we stopped the song, and everybody's clapping, and I heard somebody say, "Yeah, Marty!"
Yeah, that was me.
And everybody's looking. I'm like, nobody's going to know what you're talking about because I go by my middle name now. And I was thinking, that was JD.
Oh my god.
That was hilarious. I remember thinking that, just being like, oh man, that was fun. Awesome.
Okay, that was a little sidetrack. Okay, the April 1st show.
Do you remember that show we did last year? It was at the Beachland Tavern. I think you were there. Where everybody's hanging from the rafters and it was like really packed and it was sold out. I think you were there. It's a picture. It's my profile picture.
Was it in the the main room or the bar?
The small room.
Yeah, I think I was there.
Yeah, that was a really good show. And
wait, was this? So this was 2016, April 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Year.
Yeah.
And we're playing April 1st. We're playing April 1st again pretty soon with Boss Hogg, who are one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, I actually saw them open for Waves a couple years ago.
Boss Hogg?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
They haven't been playing out.
It was like 2013 maybe.
No, they weren't around.
Oh,
they were.
sure?
They were. Yeah.
I'm like.
You sure
I'm
you're not
like,
talking about the Orwells or Cloud Nothings or they play? Because I know these guys are older. They started in 1989.
Yeah, no, they looked very much like a dad band
In Cleveland.
Yeah.
Well, these aren't dead. They haven't played Cleveland. I can guarantee you that.
Are you sure?
They haven't played Cleveland and they haven't played out at all. They started playing last year.
My facts may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Boss Hogg who opened.
I'm positive. I'd be willing to bet money on it because they haven't been around. They haven't been around.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Do it.
Well, he's looking that up. I must ask, where do you get all your clothes? I saw you at your work a little while ago, and I was thinking to myself, my God, it looks like you walked right out of the 70s.
You missed me. Last time I was working there, I had this green wool cardigan. I was wearing a tie. I wore a tie to work. But thrift stores basically.
Dude, you found some really good finds. That's insane.
Savers on Monday, half off everything. I just go there and find stuff. But thanks. I try and dress a certain way. It's a little different.
I'm not gonna find it. It's a lost cause.
I know I'm right.
I'll give you it.
I usually keep my mouth shut if I don't know, but
Well, ask him about it next time you see him, and if they say yes, then.
Well, if you should be at that show.
I'll be at that show.
You can ask
and then I'll ask him myself.
Yeah.
It's wacky. I was at work today and I was fixing up a bike, and a buddy of mine asked me how's the podcast doing. I'm like, I'm about to interview a guy from Archie and the Bunkers tonight. He's like, you know that band? It was really wacky.
Yeah, dude, I went to school.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, no, you guys have become a local name here. It's pretty cool. How does that feel?
Well, yeah.
Letting the celebrity life get to you?
Yeah, living the celebrity life. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool, where people, they appreciate what you're doing, and they sometimes recognize you, and they're like, hey, you're in Archie in the Bunkers, and that's cool. And I'll see, I've made a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people around town now. I got to meet a lot of really cool people, and not just in Cleveland, but all over the place now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And you guys have a pretty original sound too. You guys call it hi-fi organ punk?
Yep.
Correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, it sounds great actually. It's honestly, it's like nothing like I've ever heard before, but in a good way.
Well, I'm really glad you think that. The reason we picked like something like hi-fi organ punk, because it just sounds kind of weird, but
yeah.
There's so many bands out there that are garage rock. Like, what does garage rock mean? Does it mean, are you talking about, those old sympathy for the record industry bands like the Makers and the Mummies and the Oblivions? Or are you talking about the Arctic Monkeys? Like there's no, they're not on the same plane at all. It's the same thing with saying indie rock. Indie rock when I was growing up, like in like 5th grade or whatever, was like Jack White's bands or more mainstream sounding,
And now it's like Cloud Nothings is indie.
Yeah, or even a step further than that, Foster the People is indie and stuff like that, which is like okay, then you can't say you like indie, because indie can mean something great and it can mean something bad. So, and it's the same thing what happened to punk rock too. So we don't really want to be labeled. So like if you call us a garage rock band, we're not going to be like, oh no, we're not, or punk, because like we like punk rock, like we like the good stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we kind of just came up with that name. Like, you see all those records in the dollar bin, like Hi-Fi Oregon, and so we just added punk to it, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a great term that you've coined. Has a very nostalgic feeling, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's cool that you'd say that.
Yeah, with the old analog stuff, but also has a very new feeling because everything's fresh and new.
I'm really glad you think that, because we're just doing it how we think it should be done, and I encourage other people to not copy someone and just do it the way you think it needs to be done.
Yeah, if you do it how you want to do it, then you'll succeed.
Well, we're at no means the success now.
You're getting there though.
Yeah, that's like you're pretty successful for an 18-year-old.
Already have gone on a European tour.
Yeah, like my cousin had I thought he was successful. He had like the most well-known ska band in like Ohio and like a few other states. And I still hear people talking about him. And he was like 20 something. Like to be 18 and touring. That's great.
Yeah, always room to improve. Always room to get better.
Absolutely.
Oh, before you leave, I have something to give you because I do not want to lose it.
Yeah.
It's a piece of Cleveland music history and quotations.
Awesome.
I have a demo tape from Devil Doll before she
sweet.
Yeah, back when she was in high school.
That's rad. I totally will check that out, because I still have the buttons.
Oh, sweet.
That I got when I saw her play.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a hot minute.
So what are your influences?
All right. This is gonna take a while. Pinpointing influences is kind of a hard thing for me, because I'm constantly being drawn from various things, not just music, but art and literature and so things that are real and things that are raw and stripped down.
Yeah.
You've got on the rock spectrum, you take a band like the Stooges. They did it raw. Yeah. They did it stripped down. It was rock and roll at its very core. It doesn't, it's same with the Electric Eels, if you two are familiar with that band. They were from Cleveland. They were around a little bit after the Stooges, but they are probably the greatest rock and roll band to ever have existed. They were as raw as it gets. They were as raw and as primal as it gets, and I encourage anyone who's not familiar with them to look it up, because not only is it Cleveland history and they're Cleveland legends, it truly is a piece. It is the Cleveland Stooges. You know what I mean? Like, the Stooges were so important to rock and roll, and Electric Eels, in my opinion, and more than just my opinion, were equally as important. And it's the same thing with jazz. I'm a huge fan of jazz music, of all walks.
Oh yeah, I love jazz too.
And the more stripped back it is, like, I've been on an Albert Eiler trip you know, he was also from Cleveland, also very raw and stripped down. And some people would say, you know, he's hard to listen to because, you know, it's crazy stuff. But once you know, I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. When you start somewhere with a band that you like, or a band that you feel is, like, true to music. Mm-hmm. Like, growing up, you know, the White Stripes were an influence on me, you know, because they were one of the more popular bands that was really, you know, really stripped down. Yeah. And then you say, where were they getting their... Where did they come... Like, where did they evolve from? Yeah. And you look at the bands in Detroit that were their predecessors. You've got the Gories. You've got the Gories. You've got, you know, the Dirt Bombs who came... They were around the same time as White Stripes, though. But... like the Gories, and then you've got, okay, well, the duo, you know, you got Flat Duo Jets who came around in, like, the 80s, you know, and they were doing, like, the duo before anybody else, like, just raw duo stuff. And, you know, then you look at the Gories, and it's like, well, where are they getting their stuff from? And it's like, well, it's like the Stooges and the R&B of Detroit. And you follow this path back, and then you realize you'll see big names. You'll see the Velvet Underground is on everybody. It's on going back on the family tree. It's everywhere. Mm-hmm. Because without that band, you know, rock and roll wouldn't be the way it is today. Mm-hmm. Or the Stooges. That's a big one. And then you start getting these big ones, and then it's like, well, where do they come from? And then you'll dig deeper into that, and you'll get into blues or James Brown or all these different influences, you know, from and you just follow it out, and you just, as you do that, you're getting a broad sense, and you're getting your fingers into everything, and it just, the more you know, the more you'll understand. So,
when you're listening to music, and I'm not sure how to word this, do you think you more listen to them stylistically or technically?
I think I understand what you're asking, and that's a good question. There are some songs I listen to because they make me feel a certain way, you know. Uh-huh. Like, I listen to a lot. There's been times where I listen to a lot of, like, 50s doo-wop, you know, R&B, you know.
Yeah, like the Spat stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah, and the stuff that was influenced by them, like, you know, what do they call them? The Del Vikings, you know, because they had that song "Come Go With Me" that I really like, and you know, stuff like that. Like, because it makes me feel happy, and it makes me feel good. And yeah. It's good music, and that's, like, really nostalgic music, especially for its time, because you get that late 50s, early 60s kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. And then there's some music, like Albert Ayler, you know, which is really interpretive music.
Very out there.
Yeah, like, and John Coltrane, Ornette Coleman, and, you know, Max Roach is a guy, you know, he's, I'm sure you're familiar with Max Roach.
The piano player, blanking on his name.
No, yeah.
No, not, I know Max Roach, the other guy,
Stanley Cowell?
No. God, that's really gonna
Thelonious Monk,
There was Thelonious Monk. It was the dude who wore, like, the red hat, and he was, like, everybody thought he was, like, completely crazy.
Cecil Taylor?
Cecil Taylor.
I was just, exactly, and, like, Albert Ayler would play with Cecil Taylor. Yeah, Cecil Taylor, that kind of stuff, it's art. If you don't have an understanding of, like, what came before it, like, I don't think you can listen to and appreciate, like, Cecil Taylor and Albert Ayler, and without, you know, you gotta start with Louis Armstrong. You gotta start with Cab Calloway. You gotta start at the big bands and work your way up to bebop, and then you have to work your way through the hard bop and the soul jazz and the post bop and the avant-garde to get to these places to where you really can enjoy them, because, you know, free jazz is something, like, if you, on the topic of free jazz, because that's kind of where it's leading to, you know, because Albert Ayler. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. It's not very pleasant to listen to.
Yeah, no, it's more of like a sonic thing, I guess. Yeah,
and also it's like, once you can understand it once you know where it comes from. Yeah. And then once you understand it, it's not as, I don't view it as bad, you know. It's not bad music, because now I understand it, and it makes sense. Like, I know why they did that. Mm-hmm. Which it opens your mind, and you're able to understand it better. And on the topic, I know I'm just talking a lot.
Oh no, you're fine.
No, that's what this is for.
That's what we want.
Max Roach, his drum style is very unique. It was different than the other guys, you know. Mm-hmm. And he was the guy I listened to, and I listened to him, and I listened to him. And I realized that, as a drummer, because in the bands I play, I'm just
he started
keeping the beat.
He pretty much started the double bass, right? Double bass drum.
I think that was Philly, or I think that was Joe Jones or Philly Joe Jones. I don't think he did the double bass. I don't think Max Roach did the double bass.
It was either of the two.
Yeah, but you've got those guys, Philly Joe Jones, Max Roach, and it wasn't Alvin Jones. I think there's like the three guys. I can't think of the third guy. But Max Roach influenced me to say the drums can be interpreted as an art form.
Yeah.
I never felt that before, like that the drums, because like you think of the drums, especially in the kind of music like the raw rock and roll, it's just keeping a beat, and it's important. It's equally as important as everything else, but it has its place, and it's far removed from the art.
Mm-hmm.
And you listen to Max Roach, it's like, this guy's an artist, and then you realize Art Blakey is an artist, and and all these jazz drummers are artists, and it's like, that is art, and that's something that I want to be an artist in that respect.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm a bass player myself.
Yeah.
And
you played in a jazz band, right?
Yeah. I got the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award, not to brag.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how things have progressed over the years. For example, you look at people like Charles Mingus, Jaco Pastorius, John Entwistle, like from The Who, even, are you familiar with Carol Kay?
Who does she play?
She plays bass. She was pretty much a studio musician. Did virtually every bass line.
Was she in the Wrecking Crew?
Yes, she was.
Then I know who she is.
Yeah.
I knew the name. It sounded familiar. See, that's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how it's progressed over the years. Like back in 1910s, 20s, 30s, bass was just kind of, you played the root of the chord on the beat, kept time. Mm-hmm. That was pretty much it.
Exactly.
Come figures like Charles Mingus,
exactly
completely
screwing everything. I'm changing everything. Rewriting it. Then I think it all starts. I haven't heard one interview with one jazz guy who, I'm guessing you can tell, the guy who changed everything. Mm-hmm. Charlie Parker.
Yeah.
He changed everything.
Oh, definitely.
His style, and you look back and like from this perspective, what he did doesn't affect you in the same way that it would have, coming from the big band era and saying, this guy is doing something completely different. Like everybody, there is not one jazz musician that followed Charlie Parker that did not idolize Charlie Parker in some way. There's
also another person you can mention, actually two, Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington.
Well, absolutely. There's tons. You've got Fats Waller. You got I could go on all day.
Count Basie.
I could go on all day naming jazz musicians and the trail of
jazz musicians are insane. Like, I think the reason I like the Circle Jerks so much as a punk band is because their drummer is probably one of the better punk drummers that I've listened to.
Chuck Biscuits, right?
I think
Chuck Biscuit. Yeah, because I think he played.
He went to school to be a jazz drummer or something. He went to some music school. Got out.
Yeah, if that's who I think it is, because he played with them.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many musicians actually go to school for music and then just decide to do pop instead. Because you're just gonna make more money doing it.
Exactly. Well, yeah. You can't, if you can't pay the bills, then it gets harder and harder.
Yeah, that's the one thing about music. It's
I think that some of that stuff's really funny. Like my cousin James, I like his music. He's a good rapper, and he makes more hardcore stuff. And he talked about smoking weed and drinking 40s. Mm-hmm. But then he'll flip around and have an acoustic song about driving home on a Monday afternoon for Monday PC stuff. He's that's just to get me off the ground. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
My brother talks about it all the time. He's like, as soon as I get an offer to go play keyboard for Taylor Swift, goodbye. But yeah, that's what it all comes down to is you can I'm not saying you've got to be this kind of person to like music.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand it, then you're not this or
it's
whatever.
It's the most it's art, so it's all subjective.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the one thing I don't like to hear about music, when people are being exclusive about it, or when people say that you need to be this smart to listen to this type of music, or
Yeah, I know.
Like, I used
Yeah.
to be a big hater of like trap music until like like it's easy to fucking hate on it.
Yeah,
I'm
no
not
kidding.
gonna fucking lie. It's so easy to hate on it. But JD, like I forgot when, but he was just like, dude, just go with it. Like
Yeah.
it's like and then
it's really not music to be like to analyze it, be all analytical about it. You just listen to it, have a good time. Is pretty much
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And my musical tastes are more derived to like stuff that's stripped back. You know that is.
Yeah.
So that's where you get and you follow the road. You can follow any road, but like once it starts to get watered down, and you can tell it's like when when you photocopy something and then you photocopy that copy and you photocopy and then you photocopy and then you photocopy and you do this for a decade or 2 or 3 or whatever, you get a really like washed out. You can't really understand where it came from, and that's the thing. Like with punk or with garage or with indie or whatever you want to call any genre, it's like when you say I want to play punk rock and I want to copy the Descendants or whatever, and then you get Green Day, that comes out of that, and then you get band that's like I want to, be like Green Day, so then they be like Green Day, and like it gets lost in translation just out in the open, and it's like you're not, and that's where like you could do that and it's fine, and it's just that it's not as true to me.
It's interesting that you say that, because if you really think about it, all music has just been a photocopy since Bach.
Yeah.
Even before then, if you look at just straight up tempo.
Well, yeah, it's like, what means copying? Like,
yeah,
I think it's copying when you're trying to duplicate, but I think in our case, every band that we've created, we've picked the songs that we like, and like we enjoy the sound of it.
Yeah.
We take it and we make something of our own with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's separating yourself, because like no matter what you do, you'll probably be called a copy of somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Look at all those people. Half the songs like in the old R&B days, it's like it was just the same songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the British Invasion came along. Are you kidding? They flat out, look at the first like 8 Rolling Stones records. They're more than 50% of them are either blues songs or old R&B songs. Yeah. And it's the same thing with the Beatles didn't do Twist and Shout. And then you look at the Animals, whose almost entire catalog was all blues songs and R&B songs from the 50s.
Yeah, and if you look at jazz, 30s, 40s, 50s, literally what you're supposed to do is you would look at other people's songs and be like, okay,
well, they're standards, yeah. They're standards.
I'm gonna play this exact song and then play a different solo maybe, and that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah, my coworker, he was like in a pretty successful band back when he was like younger, and he said the biggest scandal is when the Monkees couldn't play their instruments, and like they would market themselves as, well, at least we can play live.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite the scandal. I'll always be a Monkees fan no matter what.
I watched this video. It's a movie. It's called I Dream of Wires. It's about the development of analog synth. And
I bet that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You should check it out. It's on Netflix. Talks about pretty much like how it came up, how it died, how it came back, kind of, and where it is now.
Yeah.
They were talking about during the early development of it. They were talking. There's kind of like an East Coast and West Coast development, where the East Coast was trying to turn synthesizers into like mainstream, like market it, like sell it to people, like you could own one yourself. Like
you see those records hooked on, or like the box synthesizer, and they did like classical music on synthesizers.
Hooked on box. Yeah. Hooked on Bach, Wendy Carlos, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was like all East Side stuff.
Well, it was Walter Carlos back then.
Yeah, Walter Carlos back then. And then on the West Side, they had a completely different mindset. They wanted to make synths into like essentially an entirely new instrument that would pretty much only produce sounds and then do a little bit of sequencing, and they really wanted to turn music into something very avant-garde, and they were really mad when
the corporations and
when Moog decided to start selling all this stuff and not do what they wanted to do. And it's interesting because they would have, had they gotten popular and not Moog, they would have created an entire new genre. Well, this is kind of far-fetched. They could have made an entire new wave of music where it was just kind of like...
Well, look at Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
You know, look at Kraftwerk, and then in the underground scene, you had Suicide. You familiar with Suicide? It was a duo.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, there was all kind of weird stuff going on, you know. Oh, and then there's you know, and then it caught on in the 80s. You know, you got Tubeway Army, who were like synth band, and the band that inspired my brother and I to just go with it, keyboard and drums, was the Screamers, which were an LA punk rock band. Very short-lived. They never released anything properly. You can get you can get records of theirs. It's their demos, they're bootlegged or whatever. They were. I'll do some backstory first. So my brother and I want to start a band. We want to play, you know, we want to play rock and roll, you know. And my brother plays bass, and I play drums, and we tried that, you know, and it was, you know, it's bass and drums, you know. It was, and so my brother's like, what if I hopped on keyboard? And I'm like, we can't play like that. Like, what are we gonna play? What kind of music are we gonna play? I want to play something like that's a, you know, a punch in the face, not piano music. So, you know, we just stopped for a while. And all of a sudden, I'm looking up, you know, I'm doing my daily hunt for
and
music.
then you found 21 Pilots, and then you were inspired. The best two-piece band. No, I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm leaving because you have no idea the struggle I deal with about 21 Pilots. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story.
I'm with you.
I can go on. Let me finish this first. And then I came across the Screamers, which were a band, analog synth. You know, one man analog synth, and then I think the other guy played analog synth under like a Fender Rhodes. And it was two synth guys, a lead singer, and a drummer. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it didn't register with me at first because it was like, you know, it was so different. And I'd never seen anything done like that was that intense. Like, they were intense. Like the guy, I get, you know, Tomato Duplanty, the singer, he was like, his facial expressions were so, like, it just blew my mind because they were just so crazy. And I showed my brother, and my brother's like, I can play that, no problem, that's easy. So then, you know, we cover 122 Hours of Fear, which is actually going to be on our new record.
Oh, really? Oh,
so it was on our initial demo, but we actually did a recording of it for this album.
Okay.
So keep your eye for that. And from there on, it was just, you know, writing songs because, like, we realized, you know, we can do this because they did it, and we could do that, and it all spanned from there.
Yeah, that's great. I'm completely blanking. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
How terrible 21 Pilots are?
Oh yeah, 21 Pilots just trash. Yeah, don't listen to them.
Like, I can't even explain how angry that band makes me. I can't even explain why.
I know why. It's synthetic punk, in my opinion. They're not punk, but like
it's synthetic music. Like, yeah. It's not. It's so plastic. There's nothing real about it.
Yeah.
It's not just that. I've talked to people who will tell me, you know, like, I like pop music, but I hate 21 Pilots, and I'll ask them why, and they're like, they just seem like the most pretentious band. And I'm thinking, you know, add checklist, another reason why I hate them so much. Another reason, I'll see, this just sounds like I'm jealous, which I guess I kind of am, because they've got a lot of fame for, you know, being, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I've seen some of, like, their old stuff, like, before they got famous, like, old, like, live shows of them. They pretty much just played, like old, like, covers that would, like, really hype people up, and then they play their music and just be like, alright.
Well, they're from Columbus, I think.
Yeah, they're from Columbus.
And, you know, I see these, you know, they're very popular with the girls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I see people come in to places, you know, and I've seen this before. I was at a record store, and I'm looking through records, and I see these girls, all these girls run in to the back of the store where the new vinyl is, and they've got 21 Pilots records strewn out all over the floor, their money all over the floor, and I'm thinking, why? Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I think it's so far removed from me that I guess, you know, I'm not, you know, good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
They do, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not. And they're great. And I don't, you know, they might be the coolest guys, and it's just, it's so far removed from what I do.
I'm not blaming them for marketing themselves.
Gosh,
and wanting to
yeah, my brother will tell you if that was him in a second, he'd do, just like that
for sure. Like the same with me and like the whole podcast thing. I got a call at like 9, I got a text from 9 in the morning from Tommy C of like this big podcast. He's just like, everyone canceled on me 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What are you doing? And I'm like, I just canceled everything.
Yeah.
And like I get on with him. He's just like, is it okay if I make fun of you? I'm like, please do. I have no shame. Just
yeah, exactly.
If that means my podcast is get bigger, what do you want me to say? Give me a script.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with 21 Pilots is they're just so immensely relatable for the average teen that they can market themselves as much as they want, and people are still gonna buy their stuff.
The first time I heard about them was I was in London, and I was in the hotel, and I was eating breakfast downstairs, and they were playing like the British MTV or whatever, and their music video came on. Is it the Stressed Out song, I think?
Yeah, Stressed Out.
Yeah, and
that's the
and
thing.
I'm watching
the one
this.
where he like shaves his head.
I don't even.
No,
remember.
it's the one when he's on.
It came on like twice in a row while I'm trying to. Yeah, which reminded me of Krispy Kreme from the Stolen Bikes videos. That's all I could think when I saw that. But I saw this video and I'm just like, for some reason it struck a bad chord with me. I don't know what it was, but I was just like.
Oh yeah.
And then it came on again, and I'm like. Can't you play like Lady Gaga or something? Like, leave me alone. Because I was just down in the hotel eating breakfast or whatever, and then it was like all over the place, and then I started to hear about them all over the place, and you know.
Yeah, I immediately got a bad vibe when I first listened to them. I don't remember where it was, when it was, but I remember I heard them, and I was just like, this isn't good. Why are people listening to this?
Well, I understand why people listen to it.
Oh yeah, I definitely get it now.
It's just, it's so like, when people tell me, like, as a 13-year-old, I was like, I hate Justin Bieber, I hate One Direction, I hate all those pop people. And then, like, you grow up and you realize that there's no relatable, it's not even something you hate, it's not, like, I don't hate Justin Bieber for being famous or his music.
God, no.
Like, it's just something that is not on the same plane. Like, when people come to music, like, when it comes to music, like, people hear, like, you know, oh, you're a touring band. Oh, so you're like, you know, this, and it's like, no, that's not the way it goes. Like, you know, if you look at someone like Frank Zappa, his first records, he sold out, made a ton of money, and then he did whatever he wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
So and I'm sure he's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, but I know he's not the only one.
No one gets up the ladder without somebody else, unless you're crazy talented, which is very rare that someone can make it off pure talent. You usually need to like coattail up from somebody.
And the
same goes with like, you know, any media.
The sad reality is that talent. There's a lot of talented people out there.
So many million people out there.
What you have to have is you're either going to get lucky, or it's basically luck, because there are people out there who are very talented who will never be recognized for what they should, and there's also people out there which, more than talent, I think it is to me, is a certain vision. A vision that should be recognized. Like a band like you hadn't heard of the Electric Eels, which they were never big. They never were signed to a record label or anything. But they're from Cleveland. They are one of the most visionary bands I think that rock ever had. And now, you know, they're getting more and more recognition, and I know the drummer Nick, and we talk, and he said, yeah, you know, if you cover Electric Eel song, yeah, I get royalties from that, because he was in the Cramps. He played in the Cramps for from 1977 to 1991, and he doesn't get anything from that. But he was telling me, you know, like, you know, if you cover Electric Eels, I get something from that, you know. Yeah. So it's like now it's the same thing with the Ramones. Joey never got paid a a red cent for any of his music. And the Offspring was ripping him off, and he passed away. And now the Ramones, all those freaking T-shirts and everything,
God.
like, and all those guys are gone. And you know,
Don't you
Iggy
think
Pop.
it's crazy? Like, I see like girls from like our high school or like back in high school. I see girls with like Ramones T-shirts. They don't know.
No, they don't.
You say CBGBs and they're like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, I was wearing CBGB shirts in 4th grade. No joke, I actually was.
Yeah, that's a thing that I've noticed, or something I've picked up on recently, that music, to be likable in music, I guess not necessarily likable, but even like judging music, I don't think you should necessarily look at like their talent and how like technically good they are. You just need,
Because there's plenty of those.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you
There's that around every
yeah,
corner. There's a guy who's better than the next guy.
yeah, and that's the thing though. Like people think that because they're better, they'll
rise to the top naturally.
Yeah, it's
I told my cousin this. Sorry to interrupt, but you go. I'll pitch it
okay.
after.
Yeah, no, what I was saying is that if you make music that people want to hear, or even if it doesn't even matter if people want to hear it or not, if you make music and you like what you're making and you're content with what you're doing, then that's the purest form of music to me, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was telling my cousin this because he's in like a moderately coming up band. It's a Tropidelic. They're getting bigger and bigger, but they've been doing a lot of tours. And I asked him like, what are you doing personally to forward the band on like the internet? Like, because not as much now. You can, like in the 80s you could just hit the pavement and you get moderately big.
Yeah.
But like there's a ceiling you have to hit at one point, and you have to go online to like either through Twitter, just essentially shit posting till it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I recently just linked. I'm working on the social media now. Like this is just recently, like a few days ago. I'm like, we've got to figure this social media thing out because we've got to get more people to hear our music.
Yeah, everybody is.
The internet is so oversaturated.
Yeah.
With music, with good music, and with bad music, and all kinds of music, and I'll let you finish what you were gonna say. But
Oh no, you hit that one on the money. I think it's all about marketing. Like either, the way you interact with your fans. I think if you find a unique way to do it, either it be through Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, like you gotta somehow pull yourself away from the crowd even a little bit just to gain that traction.
Yeah, that, and as far as music goes, you have to find a label. You need somebody to promote you. Otherwise, then you're gonna be stuck on SoundCloud like me.
Oh come on, you'll get a run. The thing is, it's like to be heard. I don't like the music. The kind of stuff you're doing is a little different from what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But the music you just gotta play everywhere. You gotta play as much as you can.
Yeah.
Like we played with bands in Detroit. We played with bands in Columbus. We've been out in Columbus a ton of times. And when you get that offer to fly out to Las Vegas for 2 nights, and they pay your flights, and they pay your hotel, and they say you're gonna play this like mod scooter rally place, and overall the show was like a bunch of like old mod people. As soon as we started playing, left, and they blamed us for bursting the PA speakers and breaking them. But that day I met a ton of different people. I met an Olympic athlete at that show.
Oh shit!
She was on the women's soccer team that won gold. I met this guy who was the tour manager for Green Day, Flogging Molly. And he talked to us a lot about business, and then I met this guy who's one of the writers on the one of the Star Trek movies. I can't remember, but like I met like a bunch of like cool people that day, and they were all like they were all cool people. Oh, and then I met Greg Lee from Hepcat, the band Hepcat, who are like a ska band, and he drove out on his scooter to see the show, and even just for that, it was a good show, and those people know about us out there, and just when you get opportunities to go, you've got to go, because even if the money isn't, if it isn't on the money, like we went to Europe, the first time, and we still like flights getting paid is something that someday might happen, but we were getting paid a certain amount of money a show, which wasn't bad, but we go over the second time and it's more, and we've got better festival opportunities. We're playing with Iggy Pop on our last day of our tour. We're playing with the Mummies. We're playing with Echo and the Bunnymen, the OCs, like at all these different festivals, and we're playing out even more. So you get over there, you get established. It's easier in Europe to do because they like music and they support the arts over there. Like they'll actually pay for your hotel over there.
That's crazy.
Which is something that would never ever happen here. And so it's like you get more and more established, and then you play a show in London, and this buddy hears you, and he calls up his friend in New Zealand and says, "Hey, you guys got to book these guys." And then all of a sudden, you've got a contact there, or you've got a contact in this city in the United States, in this city, and then all of a sudden you can book together a tour. And, it's just, you just got to keep getting your stuff out there, and social media is a big part of that.
That's exactly what me and Andrew are doing, is, like, the other guy that owns the podcast with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've noticed that, like, we've casually put, like, one out of just buddies, like, once, like, a week, and, like, we gained, like, I think, like, 30 subscribers, and then I went on to that one guy's podcast, and now we bumped up to, like, 60. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, actually, today, I was thinking, if I just interviewed one person, or did a podcast with one new person, that's the potential for one new follower, and then it would spiderweb out from there.
All about networking.
Well,
really.
The Facebook algorithm, I don't know exactly how that works, and I don't know how many hits you would get as a result of that. But I will be sure to share this on our pages and whatnot.
Sweet.
It'll go up on the pages for this. Absolutely.
So, can you explain to us how you started and how did you get to where you are now?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. My brother and I always kind of played music together. Mm-hmm. He played back when he was very little. He was playing piano. I was playing drums. Which is kind of like what we got going on now. But he stopped playing piano because, he started playing piano because he broke his arm. He wanted to play guitar, and praise the Lord that he broke his arm, and that was curbed. So he played the piano for maybe about a year, like as a little kid. Mm-hmm. And then he picked up bass, and I was playing drums throughout the whole thing. I started drums when I was 5. My dad was a drummer, and he taught me for a certain period of time, taught me how to play. And we, played in and out of like music schools and whatnot, playing together, and we really developed like we're already really close. Like we're the best friends, and all that. Yeah. So not only can we we developed the nature to play together really well. And like I said, it was then comes, the Screamer story,
Yeah.
And so we started playing, and we got a few songs together, and my dad said, "I'll do my best to book you guys, find you guys a show and play if you guys get enough songs. When you guys get enough songs, I'll try my best, and I'll help you guys out if I can." And we don't have any connections. My dad didn't have any connections. He had been removed from those that kind of stuff for a long time, and we didn't know anybody. And so we made 10 demo CDs. There were 4 songs on them, and we sent them out to the clubs. And the first one to get back was the Grog Shop, I think. And they were like, "Hey, you guys are pretty good. You guys can book a show." So we booked a show. I was like 15. My brother was 12.
Oh, wow.
And we took this cover photo. There was like this old Hi-Fi Oregon demonstration album, and it was these 2 guys. It was from the 60s. They were in suits and ties, and they were like serious guys, and one of them was behind organ, one of them was behind the drum set. And we took that picture, stuck Archie in the Bunkers on it, made it our cover photo on Facebook, and we booked a show. And when we rolled up, people were like, "Who the heck are these kids?" Like, we tricked everybody with our cover photo. That's the first few shows because nobody knew it was a bunch of kids. And then we'd play, and people started to get into it like early on. They were like, "Hey, you guys are good." And then we played in Cleveland all the time, and we just met more people, and we played a lot of good shows. Like, and when I mean good shows, I mean like we met like good people from out of town. We played with tons of we've played with the Sonics, Dick Dale, Oblivions, the Rosillos, Fiddlar, a lot of different bands, and met a lot of different people just through Cleveland. And I would go to shows when I could, and network with other bands and tell them about my band if it came up, and work through that. And then we had put out a demo, and we'd played with all these bands, and we were like, we want to put a record out on vinyl. If we can do that, that would be the greatest thing. Like, if that's all we ever do, that's all we ever do. So this guy, Jim Diamond, had heard us play with the Detroit Cobras. He wasn't there, but he had heard He's from Detroit.
Yeah.
He had heard from the Detroit Cobras and Blair Lee said, like, these guys are good, record them.
Mm-hmm.
So we sent him our demo, and he's like, come on down, you know, to Detroit, and I'll record you guys. And so we did. We recorded the album in like 2 days, like 12 songs, our first album.
Oh, that's not bad.
And yeah, it was crazy. I think it was and we were the last band to record in his studio. And he recorded all the White Stripe stuff in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He recorded the Dirt Bombs. He was the bassist in the Dirt Bombs. He's recorded tons and tons of all these European bands who come. He was a legend. And the studio he was in was this meatpacking place. And it was just a meatpacking place. And he had all his gear out. And he had like a kind of a room that he was in. And we just played. It was this raw, sound. We loved it. So
awesome.
we got this together. And we're like, okay, so we got to find somebody to put it out now. And so we're looking and looking and looking. And we sent it off to a bunch of people, and we had one label left. And my dad and we were like talking, and my dad was like, "Yeah, I found this label," and we were looking at it, and it was this label, Dirty Water Records, and they were out of London, and we're like, "Oh, let's give it a shot." We sent it out. They got back to us, and they wanted to put it out. We were like, "Oh, this is cool. They're in Europe or whatever, and there had been some Cleveland connections, people I knew that, and they had talked to them, and I had talked to these people and that were in Cleveland that had talked to them about it, and they were saying, but they're from Cleveland was their main concern, our label's main concern, and they were like, and the people were like, so what? And then they're like, well, so then that comes out, we're working on that, we're like, well, maybe we got a tour over there. We're like,
yeah.
Okay. We're like, okay, so we did, and then cycle goes by, and we did the tour, and it was crazy. All sorts of crazy stuff. We played the background music to like a burlesque show, striptease, which was pretty rad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, I went to one of those in Europe. It was fun. Like,
it was like a 60s one. It was like a 60s, and we did it for Wanda de Lullabies, and she was cool. She was really cool. And we met tons of people over there, and just this, all different kinds of stuff, and then we came back and we did more shows, and we recorded, before we went on tour, we recorded a quick 6-song EP.
Mm-hmm. And
then a song from that went on a Power Solo split single, and the most recent stuff we've been up to right now is we just released a Third Man Records single on Third Man Records, which is Jack White's record label.
Oh, shit.
And it was live at his place in Nashville.
At whose place?
Jack White's record label, Third Man Records.
So it's his record label?
Yeah, he
Have you met him?
Oh.
I did not meet him. There was talk around the studio of him coming out, but it rained. Well, we were playing with Fred and Tootie of Dead Moon and The Blind Shake, which are two cool bands. And excuse me. Yeah, so basically that's what we've been up to up until about now.
Yeah, well, that's...
Working on... Dang it, I need water. No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great though.
That's about it right now. We're working on getting a new record out.
Yeah, hopefully up and up from here on out.
Yeah, and I have to shout out the April 1st show, Beachland Ballroom with Boss Hogg.
Be there or be square.
Yeah. Yeah, be there or be deemed a 21 Pilots fan.
Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up. That seems like we have enough time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Oh,
yeah.
You're always invited back on.
Yeah,
I'll come back anytime.
Yeah, whenever you want to.
Shoot me a call and I'll be here.
Of course.
Do you want to plug anything, like websites?
ArchieandTheBunkers.com. We're on Facebook. Regretfully on Twitter. We'll post once every few months. Instagram gets probably the most activity, and
we'll put the links in the description.
What else do we have? Bandcamp. We've got a new Bandcamp. We've got Bandcamp
Most
finally.
important.
Yeah.
Bandcamp.
Buy our stuff on Bandcamp.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because that's the hip thing to do.
Well, thank you for having. Or that's not.
You're welcome, guys. This is my podcast now. Welcome to the bunker.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for coming on the show, JD. It's me and Emmett. Hope you got the message.
At the end of your message, press 1.
Hello. I
I'm inquiring about a voicemail podcast episode that was made on our colleague. We didn't give you permission to post that publicly. I'll be seeing you in court. Yeah.